Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of my favorite science fiction films of all time. I'm just gonna get into it because hopefully this will be the last one. Next one up, another childhood favorite, came out in 1987, and another one I hope a lot of you guys have seen. It's Inner Space. It was basically, excuse me, kind of a quasi-remake of Fantastic Voyage, same premise, and a lot of great people in this movie, directed by Joe Dante, who of course directed Piranha and Gremlins. It's such a fun movie. Another sci-fi horror film, and I've always loved this movie, I don't care what anybody says. Came out in 1995, and that is Species. Can't go wrong with that. I was like 14, 15 when this came out, and I was like, okay, I'm there. I want to see this chick kick some guy's ass, and she does a hell of a lot more than that. And of course, known that the young Syl is actually Michelle Williams from Dawson's Creek, which I always thought was kind of funny. So yeah, that's Species. Another one, more towards fantasy, but it has to be added. And it came out in 2006, and so should it deserve Best Foreign Film, and that of course is Pan's Labyrinth, directed by Guillermo del Toro, who is an absolute fucking genius. Again, not much I can say about this that almost everybody doesn't know. As a lot of people know, I'm not big on foreign films, but I do have a few. But this was just so fantastic to watch, even though at some points I did find it kind of boring. The imagery just kept me totally into it, and I'm still pissed off that it didn't get foreign film at the Oscars that year. And one I might get some looks for, because I think some people might pick the 33 version, but I like the 33 version, but I like the 2005 version better. That, of course, is King Kong. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I don't care if it's 3 hours long. It kept me into it. And I love the fact they didn't make it just a tall gorilla in a suit or something like that. They actually made it a silverback. I know, weird, but I am. But I love Peter Jackson's movies, the ones that I've seen, including The Frighteners, which is fucking awesome. But this, and you know, you couldn't help but tear up at the end, even though you definitely know the story. I was thinking, no, I'm not gonna cry, because I've seen the 33 version, the 76 version, I know the deal, and yeah, I teared up at the end. But, yeah, this is probably be my third or fourth favorite film directed by Peter Jackson. Of course, I think you all know what number 3, 2, and 1 would be. They're not on the list because they're more fantasy, and I want to do a favorite fantasy film video pretty soon. And next, I'm kind of doing the box sets. I'm leaving the very important ones to last. Next one up is The Matrix, just more so Matrix 1, which I don't think any of us thought was going to be the big hit it was back in 1999. We're thinking, oh, just something to tide us by before Star Wars comes out, and it ended up being way better than Star Wars. I think we can all agree on that. Very much so. I have to give it a rewatch because I haven't watched it in a very long time. But, and to anybody who loves steelbooks, I know up here in Canada they are issuing not only The Matrix, but Heat and 2001 on Blu-ray Steelbook, I think in March, so I'll let you know that one. So yeah, The Matrix. And of course, no sci-fi list would be complete without Back to the Future. My favorites go 1, 2, and 3. Another childhood favorites, because they were made in 84, 89, and 90. I have to get this on Blu-ray. It's just been a little too pricey, and what happens when you have no money. Well, yeah, I've always enjoyed these, and anybody who has bad things to say about them, they should be slapped. But yeah. And another great series, well, 3 and 4 not so much, but 1 and 2 are awesome, and that of course is Aliens. Well, Aliens and Alien are my favorite. Aliens being my favorite out of the Alien series, and Alien being a very close second. It's another one of those times where the sequel is better than the original, but by about that much. But yeah, I also like Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, but I'm just weird. Like I said, Alien 3 is one of the only few movies by David Fincher I actually like. And needless to say, and it's kind of funny to find out that Alien Resurrection was not directed, but written by Joss Whedon. I always get a laugh out of that. But yeah, it definitely Alien and Aliens are my favorites on here. Okay, and for the last bit, and kind of the very important ones, and then the last one is my absolute favorite. Thanks to my dad for getting me into this. This is one of the biggest, like, you think Doctor Who is huge, but when I was growing up, this was the extremely big thing for me growing up. And that, of course, is Star Trek 2. I'm just showing you my favorite Star Trek movies. This was the one that got me into the Trek films, and I just loved it. I actually got to see this in the theater. How the hell I remember seeing this in the theater at the age of 1.5 years, I don't know. But my parents told me the story of when the Enterprise is coming out of the space dock, how my face just went, because I'd never seen anything like that before, and I thought it was awesome. And I don't have to watch the entire series to watch this movie. That's how great it is. So, and of course, Ricardo Montalban is just fucking phenomenal as Khan, and he'll always be remembered as that character. Next one up is, of course, number 4. Another one I got to see in the theater, and this probably has the most memorable moment in the theater for me, which is the ending. Spoiler, well, I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but let's just say me, my dad, and almost everybody in the theater just went absolutely fucking insane at the ending. This has a little bit of time travel in it, and kind of, you think it would be a little weird because they do give out, like, a kind of save the whales kind of thing, but not a lot of people pay attention because they're so into the Trek movie itself. But, yeah, it is regarded as one of the top best Trek films. Another one that I loved, and I know not that many people like, which I always thought was confusing, and it was directed by the guy who did number 2, and that was number 6, Undiscovered Country. This was the last time you would ever see the original cast together, because Next Generation was seriously taking off back in 1991, and they figured, well, it's about time the Next Generation crew took over. But yeah, this was a great, great movie. I still can't get why people didn't really care for it. And the sad thing is like a couple of months before this came out, Gene Roddenberry had passed away, so that was like the godfather, or the grandfather of Star Trek had left us way too, well, he was 72, but I wish he was still around to see how big his thing has gotten right now. And his creation in there. And next one up is, like, my 3rd favorite in the Trek series, and you can't go wrong with the Borg. That is First Contact. Parts of 2 and 4 are combined into this, like the revenge bit and the time travel. And it's a great cast because you got Alfre Woodard and James Cromwell in this. But of course, the treat was Alice Krug, I think her name is, who played the Borg Queen. You never thought, like, the Borg Queen could actually be very, not only attractive, but also very seductive. Like, people were drawn to the Borg Queen, and I was like, well, dude, it ain't too hard. But the Borg is one of the best villains in science fiction, because they're, well, actually, you look at the Borg, and you look at the Cybermen in Doctor Who, who've been around since the show came out, and look where the Borg came from. It's the same premise. But this is like my 3rd favorite Trek film, and still holds the record of most viewings in the theater, which was 8 times. And not a lot of people like this one, but I always thought I like it because they went dark on it. And that, of course, is Nemesis, the last of the Next Generation crew, which came out in 2002. I have always enjoyed this one. I think a lot of people didn't like it because of the cloning story, and the fact that it was just so fucking dark. And I was like, well, you can't keep Star Trek on the light path for too long because it will get boring. And unfortunately, had the death of one of the most beloved characters, though I'm sure a lot of you know, I'm not gonna say who, but let's just say it was like the last 10 minutes of the film, I was crying my eyes out and continued to cry on the way home from the theater. Little note, if you can see, no, it's not a mirror, but that is Tom Hardy, who we all know from Inception, and is going to be a character in the new Dark Knight Returns movie. So he was in this. It took like 8 years for him to get any kind of recognition, which is very bad. There's some really cool fights in this one, like not just physical fights, but space fights. There's one scene that, when we saw it in the theater, you could hear a pin drop. It was just so shocking. But yeah, because of basically this only made $40 million at the box office, so a lot of people, and Enterprise wasn't going anywhere, so a lot of people thought Star Trek was basically dead. Wrong! Hence 2009's reboot, which I myself was absolutely petrified about, because this is something where if you fuck it up, you fuck up one of the greatest, not just science fiction series of all time, one of the greatest things in the universe. Well, needless to say, J.J. Abrams passed with flying colors, and it was actually the first Trek movie to win a couple of Academy Awards, though I'm with everybody, it should have got a Best Picture nomination. Now they're realizing, oh, sci-fi is a good a genre with good movies. Well, no fucking shit. This was my favorite of 2009, saw it 4 times in the theater, and ironically, for my mom, who's had to rewatch number 1, 2, 3, and 4 God knows how many times since I was a kid, she loved this movie. The cast was absolutely fantastic in this, because they didn't take away from their predecessors, and I was more happy that Carl Urban actually did imitate DeForest Kelley, because you can't have Bones and not have him be Bones like DeForest Kelley had played him. Kudos to Chris Pine for not imitating William Shatner, because that would have been too weird. My favorite scenes are, of course, seeing the Enterprise for the first time in space since December 1991, and like my Enterprise. I started crying when I saw that. And of course, seeing Leonard Nimoy as Spock, that got everybody who is a fan of Star Trek crying, especially when he said a famous line from number 2. Yeah, this is a fantastic movie. I thought it was weird that they went from Romulans in number 10 to Romulans in number 11. I just seriously hope to hell they do not remake Wrath of Khan. I might have to kill somebody if they do. But yeah. So, we are at my absolute favorite science fiction film of all time. And the funny thing is, no space fights, no lightsabers, none of that. So you're thinking, what the hell could it be? It was a movie I saw back in 1982, and is also mine. I saw it in the theater when I was a year and a half old. And it is actually my favorite film of all time, and that, of course, is Steven Spielberg's E.T. And this is even beats any of the Doctor Who's or any Blu-ray I have, is my most prized DVD, because this is the limited ultimate gift set. But yeah, I went insane over E.T. as a kid, and it still makes me cry at the end with E.T. going home. Hopefully most of you, after almost 30 years, have seen this movie. If you haven't, there's something seriously wrong with you. Like I said, I got to see this in 82, and I got to be treated to seeing this in 2002 in the theater, and I still had the same effect. I always laugh when people say E.T. scared them, and I always laugh, and they're like, why are you laughing? I go, I was a year old when I saw this, and I thought E.T. was the best thing I had ever seen. Same as with the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, and the Gartham as well. People were scared of them, and here I am thinking, they are the best fucking things in the world. But I never tire of this. This is, like I said, not only my favorite science fiction film, my favorite film ever made. So, E.T. And now the Neverending Story place. So yeah, guys, that finally finishes my favorite sci-fi films of all time. Well, the ones that are in my collection, because like I said, if I did outside my collection, that would be a long time. And again, past the 15 minutes, so thank God it's over. So hopefully I gotta go. I don't want to redo this video. So you guys have a good weekend, watch a shitload of movies, and of course, rate, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.